Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Beebe, I'm excited to have you and get a market update. And then Megan, you're going to jump in and show us what this is all about.
So Megan, I don't know if you want to make any opening comments, kick us off here.
Yeah, so thanks for putting this together, Eric, and I'm really excited. I hope you guys have been diving in and exploring MBS Highway. You know, if you guys have any questions as you're navigating through there, just let me know. Once I get done talking, I'll go ahead and put my contact information in the chat box just in case you need it. And, you know, I'm really excited to put this deal together with you guys. And if you haven't looked at MBS Highway, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised as we kind of dive in here today. And if you have any questions for Barry, this first part of the call is really going to be a great time to ask.
So I'm sure there's a lot of questions. We did get some really good news today. You probably know that we've been putting a lot of pressure on Mark Calabria. You know, we've been doing a lot of good work. We were able to get the Fed to be responsive with regards to the margin call issue, and now the FHFA has been very, very difficult to work with and created quite a bit of concern within the industry. But at the present time, as of this morning, the FHFA is now saying that they will limit the amount that servicers have to pay on conventional loans to 4 months of advance payments. Now that, you know, it doesn't solve all the problems, but it at least limits it to some degree so that you could put a stake in the ground and kind of work around it. The Fed, in the meanwhile, is working on a facility to allow those servicers to borrow if they had to do for the first 4 months. And another big concern has been the first payment default issue, because if you go into forbearance, first payment defaults, you're going to be in a position where that servicer or that lender cannot sell that transaction. And that's going to be something that is causing overlays. It's causing a lot of concern.
Oh, Barry, we got you muted somehow. Something happened that you got muted. Sorry.
Okay. What did you miss? What was the last thing you heard?
Oh, it was just for about 3 seconds.
So what we're looking at now is we're looking at a game plan, not where it's ironed out 100%, to where it looks like if it's a purchase of an owner-occupied property, that will be allowed to be sold even if it's a first payment default because of forbearance. Things on the edges to kind of mitigate the problem. We're not out of the woods yet. And I still think this first payment default issue is going to create some problems until they really resolve that. But at least it's movement in the right direction. So I'm optimistic. And the thing of it is, we've got to kind of try and work our way through this, because on the other side of this, you know, you're eventually going to have very, very low rates for a long time. And the way we see it is there's going to be about $5 trillion worth of refinance business out there. So we want to just get past this. But you're going to be looking at some heartburn issues for you between now and then as we go from lockdown to unlockdown to eventually more normal, but that won't be until 2021. Maybe by the end of the year we get a vaccine. So there's a lot of interim steps until we get there. And there's going to be a lot of inconveniences for you. The best thing to do is to keep perspective, because where we're going is going to be a great opportunity for you. There's going to be tons of business, but you need to know there's going to be changes. You know, on the way there, you're going to have frustration. You're going to also have overlays. You're going to have products that won't be there for a while. And you'll probably have to get used to some things happening, like difficulty to do way above par loans, difficulty to do no closing cost transactions, difficulty to do transactions where you have rate locks without paying more dearly for them, especially if you go from 30 to 60 days. Probably have increase in the period of time of a clawback on early payoff. And you'll probably see even 0-point loans come at a bigger differential to a 1-point loan. So I think that all these things will be there. But if you keep perspective and you think about how many people would love to have those problems and how many people, you know, are really have much more serious concerns, these should be viewed as inconveniences. Although they do impact your business, we're still so lucky and so blessed that we get to do really well. And look, everybody's going to drink from the same well here. We're all in the same thing together. So these will not be indigenous to your company. Everybody's going to be going through these challenges and inconveniences. But the place we're going to get to is one where your income will only be limited by the amount of time you want to spend and how many calls you want to make, because there'll be more transactions than you can handle out there. Purchases will come back, but if you just speak on the refinance side now, if the mortgage industry does $2.5 trillion, you're really, 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 really busy. Half of those are usually purchases. So $1.5 trillion in refinances is a crazy busy market. There's $11 trillion in loans, about $5+ trillion will be available for refinance. So you are going to be really, really busy for a long time to come. And when you take a look at what tools you should be using, and we'll show you the debt consolidation tool, this is something that you definitely need to be all over, because that's something that will help you create. Just maybe we can mute everybody. I wonder if we could do that. I got Kirk coming out there with some background noise, and somebody else with a 630 number. So the debt consolidation is absolutely critical. When we show it to you, you'll be blown away. And the opportunities that exist right now is one for you as a leader to take advantage of social media and to be teaching others exactly what's going on. I think that you'll find that there are enormous opportunities for you. So I wanted to ask if there's any questions first, because we kind of went through a lot of stuff there. If there's any questions on what's going on.
I've got some questions for you. So if I'm a loan officer in the market right now, my realtors are in high stress mode, right? Just trying to switch over to video, trying to get listings, trying to get buyers motivated. Two primary questions. What can we advise realtors that would motivate a buyer to get off the fence? Like, why buy now? And then what can we advise realtors as to why a seller should sell now versus waiting, right? There's a lot of people that all of a sudden they're waiting. And so how do we help them get motivated to get off the fence and engage in the market?
So the overlying concern right now is health risk. So that's going to be a difficult one to overcome, because do I really want to put my house up on a listing and have all these people traipsing through my home? Or if I'm a buyer, do I want to go look at homes that potentially could be a place where I could catch this horrible disease? So I do believe there's going to be challenges, and you can only virtual so much. This is the home you're going to live in. It's the largest financial transaction you're going to make in your life. You know, do I want to spend $800,000 and buy the home virtually? Probably I don't, but I'm not saying that everybody won't, but I think that these are inherent challenges. So what I would try to do if I were a realtor right now is to make sure that you're there to screen both the home and the customer, that provides as safe an environment as possible, so that people feel as comfortable as possible visiting homes or showing their homes. I would only show my home to people that were extremely serious and well qualified. Otherwise, I don't want just shoppers to be looking at my home. I would probably ask for some upfront kind of offers that are contingent upon an inspection, so that you know that the person's qualified before you let people go through your home. So I think there's mitigation steps that a real estate agent who's sharp can do today. But that doesn't mean that's without challenges. The main benefit that someone has from buying a home today is that, think about where we were 2 months ago. 2 months ago, you were frustrated. You were getting outbid on homes. You were seeing multiple offers. Sellers weren't willing to give you any kind of terms. And today, they may be more willing to do so. I think that there is a period of time that you're going to have here where you will see probably a 5% to 7%, maybe 8% decrease in home prices, which is an amazing, amazing amount of savings there. It's $50,000 or $60,000 in many cases, and that could be rather significant. So, people are still going to be very careful about the health risks, but to the extent that you could be as careful and cautious as possible, why not take this as an amazing opportunity to do that? And to the extent that realtors can convince their sellers that, look, people will be in masks and gloves when they come in. It'll be limited. You'll Lysol them down. You'll make sure they leave their shoes outside, and let those people in who already have kind of made an offer. That's what I would be doing. I'd be using social media today. And one of the things we have in MBS Highway, hopefully you played around with, is the most incredible tool for you and your realtors, and that's Social Studio. And there's nothing like it. There's nothing exists like it, but it's a tool that will allow you to take a leadership role in this business and offer ideas like I just put out there that you should be putting out there to your realtors, to your customers, because this is really a very good opportunity to be in this position.
Barry, I saw you do a presentation recently that was unbelievable. The data that you were providing as far as birth rates, sheer quantity of demand coming into the marketplace. Are those PowerPoints that you showed in those charts and graphs, are those available to people inside MBS Highway?
Yeah, they're available, and they're all available with explanations as to how you should present it. So we have a section called Presentation Expressway that allows you to do those presentations. It includes all the slides, but it actually has either Megan or Dan or myself going through it as if we were making the presentation, so that you can watch that 10-minute video, maybe watch it a few times, get it down, you have the slides, you download the slides, you could edit the slides, you could put your company's info on the slides, your personal info on the slides. So you take it as if it's your own. So yeah, between Social Studio and Presentation Expressway, there are so many things that you have at your fingertips that will allow you to be the expert, to be the authority. And especially now, because people are starving for ideas. You know, this is a time where people need to know what's going on, and they're all sitting home, they're getting burnt out watching Netflix. They're going to pay a lot of attention to you right now. And this will transcend. When we get out of this, those people will continue to follow you.
You got it. And how are you feeling about forbearance? I know Mortgage Bankers Association came out saying it's now at 6% of mortgages are now in some sort of forbearance. Do you feel like that's going to create any sort of hindrance about buyers? Is that going to affect credit? What are your thoughts on that moving forward?
So a lot of good points. You bring up all the good points on that, Eric. So first of all, that dramatically understates the forbearance issue, because this was as the 12th of April. So now let's look back 9 days ago. That's the most recent data we have. And I think it's kind of, you know, it would be overly optimistic to think that this is a linear approach. So, you know, in other words, if you have X amount by the 10th, that it'll just be double that by the 20th, or you know, by the 30th, it'll be 3 times that amount. I think that's very optimistic, because there's two things that are happening during that time since the 10th of April, or the 12th of April, rather, when we have the most recent data. The first is that a lot more people have lost their jobs. So therefore, that's going to increase disproportionately those numbers. And you're seeing, algorithmically, you are seeing more of an exponential increase since the beginning when those numbers came out, as opposed to an increase that is more linear. So you're not seeing like a gradual, you're seeing like this kind of a slope on that. And that's going to continue. The other aspect of it is that I think it's also human nature to think that most people wait till the last minute before they do things. So as they approach perhaps the 15th, or as they approach the 30th of the month, those requests for forbearance will definitely spike, in my opinion. When you take a look at the move by the FHFA today and what the Fed is trying to put in place, I feel a lot better about things than I did, but we're certainly not out of the woods yet. And if they would have really rectified the first payment default situation, you would have had much less in the way of overlays or restrictive policies. You know, they took a baby step, but you're dealing with a guy, Mark Calabria, who is, he is a career academic, never so much as had a newspaper route or a lemonade stand, doesn't understand the mortgage business, but yet he's running the agencies. How Mike Pence chose this guy, it is, I mean, it's that would be, Eric, that would be like you taking somebody who spent a week in furniture sales and said, okay, now we're going to run my company. I mean, it would not be a good idea. The person, his entire mortgage experience is dependent upon the refinance or purchase loan that he took out as an applicant. That's the extent. He knows no more about the mortgage business than an applicant of yours who's gone through 1 or 2 mortgage transactions. And this man is running it. So, and on top of it, the guy's a bit crazy. You know, he's willing to fall on the sword. All you have to do, don't take my word for it, just do the research that Megan, myself, everybody here has done. We have listened to this man's speeches, and you know, you can come up with your own conclusions as to this man's personality, and you will say, no wonder why we're in this mess, because this man is just, this is his makeup, and he's a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous man. To have someone who is so ignorant yet so so pompous and abstinent, thinks he knows all the answers, thinks that the world revolves around him, thinks that he's the only one who's got it right and everyone else has it wrong. And his defense mechanism for being ignorant, and I don't mean stupid, I mean ignorant, because he just doesn't know it. So many, I consider myself to be, pretty intelligent, but there's so many things I'm ignorant about that I don't know about, right? I don't know how to build a rocket ship to go to the moon. Doesn't mean I'm stupid. I'm just ignorant. This man is ignorant to how the plumbing works in the mortgage industry. And yet, at least I admit that I don't know how to build a rocket ship. And I'm not going to tell NASA scientists that you're wrong and turn a cold shoulder to their thoughts, because they do know more than me. But Calabria, even though he doesn't know anything about it, is so pompous that he doesn't want to admit that he doesn't know. So his defense mechanism is to be dismissive and shut everybody else down, even when they're trying to tell him what is in the best interest of the housing industry and the mortgage industry. They also bring up the forbearance issue. And how does it impact your credit? Well, this is a big one, because as far as the CARES Act goes, it says it's not supposed to show delinquent. Now, while it doesn't show delinquent, it doesn't say anything that it can't show that's in forbearance. And lenders are not going to touch these people. So this is what it comes down to. If you need forbearance, you should use it. If you've lost your job, you got no way to make your mortgage payment. Actually, forbearance is in that respect a good thing. We're not getting dumped inventory. We're not getting housing prices tumble because of it. We're not seeing foreclosures go. So in that regard, it is a good thing. And we feel for those people and we want to help them. So yes, but unfortunately, real estate agents and people at large are gaming the system. There are stories of people who have millions of dollars in the bank and they're just not making the payments. So this is just, I mean, aside from being immoral, what it is doing is it's causing an undue burden. And if Calabria would only have acknowledged that and taken care of this first payment default situation, it would be a lot better. Now, as far as credit goes, those individuals that are foolishly doing this, that don't have to, there's no financial benefit because you still have to pay it back. So if you were to say, okay, let's really talk about what the financial benefit could be. Okay, so that money sits in my checking account, which is going to get fraction of 1% in interest. And so maybe, just maybe, because a lot of checking accounts don't pay interest, maybe I might get $20 for leaving it in my account instead of paying my mortgage. But now what happens is in this incredibly low interest rate environment we're about to go into, where you can pull cash out, pay off your debts, you don't have to sell your stocks if you need the money. You can do home improvement. You can do so many things with this at a lower rate and save money on your mortgage, because rates will go lower. They're going to be excluded from that. The opportunity in real estate, they're going to be excluded from that for a reasonable period of time. So they're screwing themselves unwittingly because they just think they're gaming the system and they think they're smarter than the system. And the payback to them is going to be missed opportunities. And then should they fall on hard times, then they're going to dig themselves in a hole it's going to be hard to come out of. So all bad things for those going into forbearance who don't need it because they don't understand it.
So a question for me though, Barry, is so you fast forward to July 1st, right? All these people going into forbearance, so their April payment, May payment, June payment not being made. Now their payment is due on July 1st, but it's 4 months worth of payments that they have to make on July 1st. Given that we're going to be that close to the election, like it seems to me that they're going to have to roll out something that extends the forbearance period, right? Or
it's built in already. It's built in already. The servicer can give them 3 months, but then they literally have to allow up to 12 months worth of forbearance.
Yes, everybody's just going to kick the can, all the way down past the election, right? Like this is going to go into 2021 before the pain kicks in.
Well, and then it's different. There's a different waterfall for the pain. Do the payments get caught up at once? You could try, but if they don't have the money, then you could go with where the subsequent payments up to 6 or 24 months between that period can be increased. Something like if you get a real estate tax hit and the escrows have to go up, what they'll do is they'll increase the monthly payment to account for that for the next year. Something similar to that, or there could be a modification. Or in the case of HUD, not yet in agency, not yet for Fannie or Freddie, in HUD, there could be a secretary's lien, which that amount is treated like a second mortgage, and that gets paid off when the first mortgage either refinances or the home gets sold. So that will be a lien that rides along with it. So it's unclear on the agency side what will happen, but at least that's the side of FHA transactions.
Interesting times. Does anybody have any questions you guys want to jump in here? To ask Barry anything direct, feel free to jump in. You can unmute yourself if you have a direct question for Barry. I see some questions coming into the group chat. Hold on. Adam Kernan, with the pending relief of some of the servicing pressure, do you expect Ginnie Mae and lower FICO score pricing to improve again soon?
I think that's all going to depend. All these overlays are going to depend on what the unemployment situation is, because the big overhang risk is, are people going to be able to make their mortgage payments? So we're going to have to see when we get back to work. I think that it's going to be a slower grind than you think. The unlockdown period at best will last till the end of the year. And then if we are fortunate enough to get a vaccine, which there is reason to be optimistic, but it's not guaranteed, then you got to ramp up production, and then you have to go through the process of inoculating everybody. So when you start to think about that task of getting perhaps, there's something called the R-naught factor. The R-naught factor is how many people an infected person can infect. And, influenza is like 2, which means one infected person can infect 2. It's believed that COVID is a little over 3. So in order to protect the economy, you'd have to inoculate 70% of people to get what's called herd immunity. So herd immunity of, let's just use some round numbers here. That's going to mean that somewhere in the neighborhood of 220 to 230 million people have to get vaccinated. That's not going to happen in a day. So, if went out in mass, we could start to approach those numbers the first quarter of 2021 if we get a vaccine by the end of 2020. So in optimistic sense, I think that 2021, the first quarter is that transition, and then the balance of 2021 begins to look like, much more normal circumstance. Because look, if I got a vaccine, I'm going to be very confident in moving about. So I'll sit in a theater, I'll sit on an airplane, I'll go to a crowded restaurant or bar. This is what's going to happen. But we're seeing now some tests of reopening. Georgia, other states, Ohio, many states should be opening, some as early as Friday, some as early as the first of the month. And then we just have to hope and pray that we don't see what happened in Singapore. And Singapore, went through the shutdown, they reopened, and now their cases are spiking to they're again back in total shutdown. So we pray that that does not happen here. I just don't have the answers to that. But I think that to think that this thing is going to change really quick or go away really quick might be a little bit too optimistic for me. So much of the medical stuff will tell us what the job market does, and what the job market does will tell us what the risks are of mortgage repayment, and those risks will determine when these overlays go away. So it's a long answer, but it's a chain that it depends upon.
When another question being asked is, what do you tell people that think non-QM is coming back soon? How do you feel about the non-QM market?
There's no shot of that coming back soon. I mean, just think about it logically. Always think about this. You can answer your own questions if you just think about you as the lender. That's all you got to do. Would you lend somebody with a 45 ratio with no reserves at a high LTV that can't verify everything? That is your riskiest of riskiest borrowers. They have no threshold for any kind of deviation. So look, if you had a pristine borrower, you have much more elevated risks of somebody defaulting because they lose their job. I mean, we all know that that's the correlation, right? Most people in this country live paycheck to paycheck. So you stop the paychecks coming in, you stop the payments going out. It's that simple. So your best defense of loss of everything is LTV. So when you see jumbo loans only at an 80 LTV, there's a reason for that. So I would not be seeing non-QM come back for a while. You have to get things really balanced. There's two things: there's greed and fear. And right now we're in fear, so nobody's thinking about greed. Nobody's thinking about making money. People are thinking about preservation of capital instead of capital growth. So I just don't want to lose right now. When we get stabilized, sometime in 21, things start to come back, we'll be looking at those things coming to be. And I don't think high balance either. No, it's because high balance is going to put you in a position where people still might not get foreclosed upon, but it's not a pleasant trip to go through that. People don't want to go through the foreclosure proceedings. You want to, again, think about it as a lender. Okay, think about it as a lender. You want to cherry pick here. You want to be doing loans right now is equivalent to Russian roulette in many cases. So I want to be really careful. And what all of us have to understand is these inconveniences that we're dealing with are nothing compared to what other people are going through. We're blessed. We're lucky. And what we have to think about is this a transition? Let's get through the next 9 months or next year with inconveniences for sure. But because the other side is so amazing that once things settle back, like I said, you're going to have more business than you ever knew what to do with. And quite frankly, you don't need high balance. You don't need non-QM. There is more business right now to keep you busier than that. Why are you even bothering with that? I mean, really, if you aren't doing literally more business than there is hours in the day, then you're just not using the right tools. If you were to use our debt consolidation tool, if you were to use our social media tool, if you were to use our presentation tools, if you were to use our real estate report card, if you were to use our communication tools to the clients and real estate agents that you have, if you were to use the loan comparison tools or the refinance comparison tool, you would have to make an appointment to get up to use the restroom because that's how busy you would be. So if you are not doing that, then I would ask you not to look for loans that are riskier and pray what's out of your control.
Right.
If you want to be a real leader, do what's in your control. And what is in your control right now is addressing $5 trillion of loans that are available for you to do right now today. Do you really need 5 trillion and 247,000, or is 5 trillion enough? 5 trillion is enough. Just do what's in your control. Don't worry about this other stuff. I mean, really, why? There is more business than you could possibly have hours to do. If you're not getting it, you're not either using the right tools or focusing on the right ways to get them. It's that simple. And I don't mean to be cold-hearted about it, but that's just the facts.
Right. There's a lot of people focusing energy on business that they can't do and no one can do. And so
or that they can't control.
Right. And so instead of that, just focus on the business you can do and write 1 or 2 loans a day on the loans you can do from your own database, from your own social media, from your own sphere of influence.
Eric, we were at a conference. We were at a conference together, and Megan will tell you. I don't know where Megan went, but Megan will tell you that we have had no less than every single person that has been there who has tried the debt consolidation tool, which was pretty much everybody there, has said to us that they are making like an extra $25,000 or $30,000 a month. Some people told us they made $165,000 last month. $165,000 last month on one tool, the debt consolidation tool. So why are we even worried about it? If the bottom line is that I'm doing this, I wake up every morning, I go to work because I want to do a lot of good in the world, but I want to make money. If that's a primary driver, which I believe it is for all of us, because take away the money, I don't think we'd be on this call right now. If that's the driver, then just make money. You have a path that's going to do the most good in the world for the most people that need it in the easiest possible way, regardless of interest rate, and make more money than you could have ever imagined.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm trying to help people with, and I know you've been trying to help for a long time, is helping loan officers and realtors adopt new ways, new technology, new methods that are easier, not harder. But there's the human behavior change, the human technology adoption. So what do you say to somebody who's struggling with adopting technology right now?
I say, look at this. Okay, so here we go. So here's our site. Now you're on the MBS Highway site, which you should be utilizing and you should be working with because it's incredible. Every morning we do a daily update, which if you're not watching the 5-minute update in the morning, you're freaking nuts. I mean, you're telling me that you don't have 5 minutes to invest in your time? I mean, really, there should be no excuses here. There should be just results. And if you can't invest 5 minutes, that's kind of like saying, you know what? There's a doctor out there, but that doctor won't invest 5 minutes to learn what the latest is and what the most important ways to help me are. you really want to use that for the safety of your family, you want to go to that position. People that don't watch this are kind of like that doctor that's not trying to be the very best that they can be. I mean, listen, you have to make a decision today. And mediocrity is probably not the best way to be. And if you want to be like the best that you could possibly be, you have to invest in yourself. And you should be knowing what's going on in the marketplace. So when you watch our daily update and you go through it, and you see what we do here. So we'll go through all of the news items that are out there. We'll show you what's going on in the market. We'll show you when to lock, when to float, what to tell your customers. You need to be doing that. You know, people talk about the what's going on in oil. Well, if you were watching what we had, you probably made a boatload of money, because as far as the oil market goes, we've been talking about the contango spreads in the oil patch. You know, and here it is. You can see the big drop, but we knew that the contangos were widening. You see this widening here? When you see this, you know oil prices are going to plummet. So we got this reading back in March that oil prices were about to plummet, and sure enough, they have. So you have that capability. Everything that we have, you can screen share. Everything that we have, you could do a screen record, a live screen record. So there are fine tools that do a screen record, like BombBomb, but you have this built in. You've got a screen share built in. Everything we have could be sent to the customer and work with them. Here, you want to make your, here, I'm just going to show you something right now. 2 things that guaranteed will make you an extra $200,000 a year. If you don't make $200,000 a year more from this day forward, more than what you're making, not make 200, more than 200, I'd be shocked. And it's this easy. So first of all, let's do Social Studio. So I want to know a couple of things on Social Studio. So I'm going to try and put myself in a position here where what I'm going to do is pick a script. So smart refinancing tips during the pandemic, finding opportunity during these challenging times, understanding that forbearance is not forgiveness. Fed rate cuts does not equal lower mortgage rates. I mean, I'm sure you guys have people asking you about that, right? And then what you could do is you can go specific to your area where you'll be able to pull things where it will pull up. Here, let me try and get stuff here. Here's one, cost of waiting. You tell us where you are, state and county. And by telling us where we are, so if you're in California and if you happen to be in Contra Costa County, just to pick a place, it builds in all of the statistics into the script. Now, if you wanted to say, okay, what I'd like to do is I want to show some smart refinancing tips during the pandemic, or the Fed rate cut does not equal lower mortgage rates. Let's go to the next. Now, here's my script. Now I can edit it. Now it says contact me. So contact me. How about if I say contact me, Barry Habib, so I can review your situation. So I can edit this. What I'm trying to show is how you could edit it. Then I could do it on my phone. I could do it on my desktop. Now here's my teleprompter that I've turned the computer into. Let me get my camera. There I am. And now I could preview this. And I could say, well, you know, I talk a little faster than that. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. And I could speed it up. I can put a smaller font, or I could say, I want to get rid of my glasses, right? So I'm going to put a really big fat font so I don't need my glasses. So here we go. Let me just show you how easy this is. You ready? You probably heard that the Federal Reserve, also known as the Fed, has cut interest rates to 0 on the Fed funds rate. There's a big difference between the Fed funds rate, which can change day to day, and a mortgage rate that can stay in place for 30 years. Mortgage rates are normally backed on mortgage-backed securities, which may have done very well, bringing mortgage rates towards historical lows. But recently, the turmoil in the financial markets have caused mortgage rates to rise just a little bit. Even though the Fed has cut its rates, I believe there may be an even bigger opportunity to consolidate your debts, reduce years on your mortgage, and create wealth, all by keeping or reducing your current monthly payment. Contact me, Barry Habib, so I can review your unique situation. Done. It's 41 seconds. Looks like I'm looking at the camera. I can preview it here. You probably heard it. I can download it and post it to social media. That's how easy it is to become a social media celebrity, okay? If you do something that simple and that easy, you can put yourself, and let me come back to you here is where we are on the Zoom. Can you still see me?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm trying to pull back Zoom here. It's not, oh, here we are. So I think that this is a very easy one. Now, let's go to our loan advisor section, which does loan comparisons, cost of waiting, everything. By the way, in here, there's also, in marketing, there's also an open house flyer. If you're using nice tools like list reports, everybody tells us, I'm not making a determination, everybody says that ours is so much better, so much easier to use. It's the only one that you can text to your customers, which realtors love, and that's built in. That's all part of it. So you could spend, $150 a month for list reports, $60 a month for BombBomb. You could spend $90 a month for Mortgage Coach. And I'm not knocking them. They're all good tools. But everyone tells us that we do much better than all those tools do independently. And our price is cheaper than each one of them individually, and a tiny fraction of it if you combine the need for all those and go to all these different places. And then on top of it, we give you the best advice on the markets. We're the only ones who get it right. All the copycats that are out there that don't understand the market are giving bad advice. If you just watch them, because we do, and everybody tells us as everybody leaves and comes to us, that the advice that you get from these other areas can be detrimental to you because they don't understand it. You can't make up for 35 years of doing this, guys. Because you can put a basketball in a basket does not make you LeBron James. You could be a copycat, and that might work sometimes, but you're going to get burned on the long run. I want to show you, there's so much to go over. I'm not going to go over much of it, but I'm just going to show you this. If you want to make yourself a couple of extra $100,000 a year, let me show you how easy this is. So I'm going to go fast. I'm going to do a demo here. You could do this for any place in the country, but let's just say you talk to one of your customers. And all I want you to just do is just take a look at somebody who's got a mortgage, whether it's a previous customer or not, because anybody who's got a mortgage and anybody who'd be qualified for a loan can take advantage of this. You could do this anywhere in the country, wherever you are, okay? So we just happen to pick Tampa, Florida. So, but it could be anywhere. As you can see, we have every state, and then if you go to each state, you can go to every market in every state, down to the zip code. So now we're going to put in here when they purchased their home and what they purchased it for. So they originally bought their home for $500,000. Now watch what happens. We already know the taxes for every single town in the United States. So let's put in $500,000. And we already know the taxes and insurance. You didn't have to put that in. Now, when did you buy it? You can put whatever year you want. See, if they bought it in February of 2016, that $500,000 home, we know what it's worth. It's worth $732. If they bought it in 2017, it's worth $633. If they bought it in April, it's worth $620. You get the picture. We can instantly tell you, and how far do we go? We go back into the 90s, okay? So pretty much every one of your customers will tell you what their home is worth. And how long did that take me? About 4 seconds, right? So now you know what their home is worth. Now, what do they owe against it? Well, you could put in the LTV, or you could see what they did. So it was a $400,000 loan, and they took it out at 3.5% on a 30-year conventional fixed. Easy. So that $400,000 loan on the $500,000 property at 3.5%, no MI. So we'll tell you what the estimated remaining balance is, and we'll give you the monthly payment. So we'll amortize this for you. So you haven't even spoken to the customer yet. All you did was look at a previous file. So now we're going to call the customer. And the problem is that your rate, let's just say your rate's 5%. So you're going to say to me, Barry, why in the world would somebody go from 3.5 and no points, I'm sorry, and no MI, 3.5 and no MI to a 5% interest rate? That's crazy, right? Well, let's continue. So now here, all you're going to do is call the customer up and say, listen, I want to see if we can save you some money. Let's just go over what your debts are currently. And they say, well, Barry, I've got a Macy's. Okay, Macy's. Great. And it's a revolving debt. What do you owe Macy's? I owe Macy's $1,800. How much is the monthly payment? $195. Okay, great. Done. And then I asked them, I'm going to just save us some time. You have a car payment? Yep, I've got a Chevy, $29,500. And I've got 3 credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, Discover. It's $20,000. And I bought some stuff at Best Buy for $2,800. And then any other debts? Yeah, I got alimony, $650 a month. That's it, okay? So before we continue, just, take a look at this. Hopefully you'll agree that this is a pretty reasonable client profile. Everybody's different, but this is reasonable because people have debts. Now, you can put in what your max ratios are here. Whatever you put, we'll put right here for you, and it'll change it on the fly. So if you want to change this to 42, you'll see it'll change on the fly and tell you what your ratios are. Now, today you could probably still do up to a 75 LTV cash out, so we got that in there, but you could change it if you wanted to. And let's just say your rate's 5%. And let's say to close this loan, your closing costs are $4,000. Now, I know your rate's better than 5. I know the closing costs would be less than $4,000, but I'm trying to be crazy here to show you in this insane situation that nobody would look twice at how you could change this customer's life for the better. So as we continue, they owe $378. We're going to roll in the $4,000 for closing costs. So that means their new loan is going to be $382. That's right here, $382. But as we look at this, when they first purchased the home, they were at an 80 LTV. Remember, they put $400,000. They took a $400,000 mortgage on a $500,000 home. They put 20% down. It was an 80 LTV. But today, due to appreciation in their market, which we automatically calculate, amortization on their loan, which we automatically calculate, they're in a 62 LTV. And if you take a look, this is a 62 LTV, the green bar. They can go up to the 75 cash out. So they've got usable cash that they could pull out of the home. We calculate it for you. It's $83,000. So clearly, we're not going to just do the rate and term refi because they lose $256 a month. But what if we took some money from here and paid off that Chevy? So increase the loan amount. What would that do to the payment? All I got to do is click on the Chevy. Wow, now I've increased the loan amount, but I'm saving $164. That felt good. What if I click on the Visa? Wow, what about the MasterCard, the Discover, the Best Buy, the Macy's? Holy cow, I could save you $1,273 a month. Now, it's smart enough to know I could click alimony all I want. That sucker's not going away because it knows. Now, look at this. We still have $27,000 in here that I could use. Hey, Mr. Klein, you ever think of doing some home improvements? Well, yeah, I am. Well, you know what? Let me help you. Let me show you because this automatically knows where you are, okay? It knows where you are. So it will tell you you're in Tampa. This is what people in Tampa are doing. It's smart enough to tell you up to the most recent month what people are doing. People are renovating the bathrooms. People are doing landscaping. You don't want to tell them finish your basement because in Tampa, they don't have basements, okay? So you are in tune with what's going on in the market. So yeah, I do want to do the bathroom, Barry. I think that that's a great thing. Well, it's interesting. 75% of people in Tampa that own a home are going to do one of these things in the next year, and 85% are going to get a loan for $20,000. Guy says, yeah, you know what? I want to do it for a loan of $15,000. Let's do it. Here, let's fix your bathroom up. So I'm going to put bathroom. And the amount's $15,000. Add that. Okay, so now that's in there. Now, before I could save him $1,267 a month, but because I just added $15,000, I can now save him $1,192 a month. $1,192. So here's the thing. I could save him this $1,192 during this period of time, and that's going to be a lot better than the one-time check that they got as a handout. I'm going to save him $1,192 every single month and give him an extra $15,000 in cash that they could use for the bathroom. But if you really want to change their life, what if we did this, Mr. and Mrs. Client? Once this calms down, this extra $1,192 a month, you can easily afford your old payment. Your payment remained the same as it was. We just took your payment and took the savings in your payment, and now we kept it the same. Your ratios are still low. And what if we took that extra savings, keep your payment the same, and applied it towards principal? Well, here's what would happen. Your new mortgage would be paid off in 14 years and 9 months. 14 years and 9 months. That'll save you 12 years and 6 months compared to what you have right now. So think about it. You've got $378,000 you owe. Here's the debts we're going to pay off. We take out a new mortgage, and instead of you having 27 years and 3 months remaining, you will have 14 years and 9 months remaining. Your mortgage will save 12 years and 6 months or 150 payments. How's it going to feel to not have to make a $3,000 payment 150 times? Just think about that. That's the best retirement savings plan I could do for you. None of your financial planners could do this for you because they're going to take risk with investment. This is risk-free. This is guaranteed. I'm going to save you $3,000 a month 150 times, and nothing's changed. Your payment's the same as it is. But hold on a second, it gets better. You don't have to wait 14 years and 9 months. What if after 5 years? If you left things the same, you'd amortize $45,000. You do what I'm telling you, which, by the way, is going from 3.5% and no MI to 5%. You're going to save an extra $72,000 and keep your payment exactly where it is today. How about over 10 years? And by the way, I could show any period in time. Okay, I could go any period I want. How about after 10 years? You'll save an extra $170,000. How about after 14 years and 9 months when it's all over? $292,000. Could you use an extra $292,000, Mr. and Mrs. Client? Could you? What do you think? What's changed? Your payment hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. One thing's changed. You got $15,000 for home improvement or to put it aside or to fix up your bathroom, whatever you want to do. That's the only thing that's changed. We've given you more money. And all of these can be edited. You want to take out some mad money for yourself? You want to take out $400 a month for yourself, extra cash flow, and put the $792 towards it? Yep, it tells you what it is. You want to just do it with everything the way it was? I can I could show you this. Oops. Sorry, it went back. I could show you exactly where we were and take that same scenario. I kind of got out of it without saving it, but I could show you that exact same scenario. And let me just go back to it real quick.
Hey, Barry, while you're doing that, Megan, I'm getting a lot of private messages with people wanting to get signed up here and getting, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? Barry, you've done an amazing job. I just want to be respectful of our time. Everybody's got to jump off here in the next 10 minutes, and I'm sure you included, Barry. Megan, can you just take a quick second and give everybody a heads up? If they want more information on this, what do they do?
Yes, so if you guys want more information on this, reach out to me or Eric or me. You can reach me at megan@mbshighway.com. And the deal that Eric and I have been working on and Barry to put this together is you guys have $99 per month per branch if you get these in no later than the 24th.
All right, Eric, give me Megan, just give me 2 minutes. I want to show one thing just to finish this through, okay?
Okay.
So, by the way, every page has video help. So if you want to know how to use this tool, if you want to see what I just said a little bit slower, click the video for each page on the site. And there's so much that I haven't done. There's so many quick tools that we have on here, team, whether it's a retirement calculator for yourself or for your customer, whether you want to show your financial planner what it would be a difference if they put less down and invested with them, whether you want to work out payments or amortization to show the downfalls of forbearance, that's all there for you. But now what you could also do, team, is this. Check this out. So what if I wanted to take this and migrate it to a different tool? I can migrate it to any one of the same tools. Or I want to now take this and I'm going to put this for you, Eric, okay? So let's just say my client's Eric, I want to share this. I could text it to myself. I could text it to Eric. I could copy the link. I could email it to him. So let's copy the link and let me show you what happens here. So here we go. We're going to open up a new, this is what the customer would see. So the customer sees this and they're going to put their name in there. They're going to put their email in there. And then they're going to view the presentation. By the way, do you guys have social survey?
We do not. We use something else.
No problem. So here's the customer's view. Now, when the customer gets this, you know what the customer does? They say, okay, let me pay off the Chevy. Ooh, look at that. Look at the Visa, the MasterCard, the Discover, oh my God. And the customer gets all giddy and excited. And this is what they get. Well, maybe I won't pay off the Discover because that belongs to co-signing it for my daughter. They get to do this. It's so interactive. And by the way, the second they start playing with it, you get an email telling you based upon the time in the time zone they're in of when they looked at it, so that you know that this is a good time to call them because clearly they are now engaged in this. And let me just show you one other thing here. If you were to go out, here's what MBS Highway costs. Go to pricing. People sign up every day at $18.99 a year or $199 a month for one individual license. The deal that Eric put together for you is this. If you got 3 people in your branch, 2 people, 4 people in your branch, you don't pay $199 a person. You pay $99, but that's $99 for each individual person in your branch to have their own individual license for a grand total of $99 for the entire branch. So in other words, if you have 3 people in your branch, it's like they're each paying $33 a month. They each get their own license, all the tools, what would normally cost somebody, what people pay every day, $200 a month. Guys, we've got 21,000 paying subscribers. The majority of them are paying rates like this that are individual. So you have an unbelievable deal that Eric was able to put together for you. I don't know when the deadline is that Megan has, so I'm going to turn it over to Megan. So
Friday.
she can, okay,
This Friday.
So deadline's Friday. I'm going to get out of here and let Megan talk to you.
Yeah, so you guys see that deal is amazing. $99 per branch per month. All that I need from you guys, and I'll resend this to Eric, and I wish I could attach stuff in here, but I don't think I can, is I just need a list of the people that are in your team, their name, their email address, their cell phone number for lock alerts. The deadline is Friday. After that, it goes up to $99 per month per LO. So do not miss out on this and do not put this on the back burner. I know that we're busy, but let's go ahead. Let's get this taken care of because the deadline, it's a hard deadline on Friday.
But here's one more thing, Megan, is guys, we don't try and rope you into anything. You want to cancel it at any time. There's no commitment. You don't got to say for a year. You don't got, I mean, really, guys, for your entire branch to be on this, even if you're a one-person branch, what can you buy for $100 today? I mean, just think about it. I mean, could you go 2 people out to lunch for $100? And you know, tough to do. Okay, so for $100, you put yourself in a position where you have this unbelievable tool and this unbelievable background for however many people are in your branch. Ridiculous. And then you cancel it anytime. You say, yeah, I tried it for a month. Cancel it. What have you got to lose? I mean, really. But if you don't do it by Friday, then it's $200 per person in your branch. So
what do you say to someone? We need to get truthful and honest here, guys. What do you say to someone who's saying, "Oh yeah, this is a sales pitch. I'll sign up next week, and I'm sure they'll give me the pricing."
No, it's gonna be. You can sign up, but it's $200 per month per user. Because that's when you have to go to our sales team. Now, that's not to say from time to time we run specials, and maybe you might get it for $149 or $129, depending, or if you come to an event that we do live.
Not per branch, right? Even if you get a discount, it's per loan officer, not per
loan
branch.
officer.
It's a one-shot deal.
One-shot deal
per month per branch. Sign up this week, you get that pricing. You don't sign up this week, you know, that's fine. And if you do sign up, you want to cancel, right? Can they cancel at any time?
Cancel it.
Okay.
Look, let me put it this way. If you're that unhappy, we'll give you a refund too. So you're not going to lose anything. Okay, guys, we don't want your money if you're not happy. We want you happy. So if you try it for a month and you say, you know what, guys, I'm going to cancel it, but I really hated it, we'll give you your $99 back. No, you're not going to get an argument from us. We want you happy. Okay, honest to God. We just want, you know, if you look all over social media, look what people say about us. Yeah. I mean, it's all about love with us. I mean, really, it's not, you would have to scour the internet to find one potentially mediocre comment. We do not have clients. We have fans. And we want to keep it that way. If it works out with you, great. If it doesn't, we respect that. No problem. We don't want your money unless you're thrilled.
And Barry, I know that you have a call at 2, but Nathan, I wanted to address your question. If you do hire an LO in the future, yeah, just send me the name. The whole reasoning that, one, this is a hard stop is because just the way that it's set up in our back end system, that it won't matter once we create that in our back end system. So as you hire new people, we'll be able to add that on because you'll just be in the back system that way. But after that, it's just too much of a nightmare. So that's why we have that hard stop on Friday. And I don't want to be the bad guy, so do not put it off. But if you want to get in at that discounted pricing, we just need to hear by Friday.
This is, I know Eric for more than 20 years. When we were together in San Diego, right, and this is what we had negotiated and put together. This is guys, the reason why it's like this and it's like limited, like this is, honest to God, it's a friendship deal because Eric and I have been friends for that long. That's the only reason that this is out there.
And why now, right? So there's a couple of reasons. Certainly the market is right now, we need to adopt technology. We need access to information, et cetera. But guys, like it's always been a price per loan officer, right? And so then, you know I see AJ on the call, right? And so I'm bound by what I can convince AJ or Janet or Dan or whatever that needs to be. And so all of a sudden, I'm talking to Barry in San Diego, and it's, hey, what do we need to do? I said, we need to have a price that is going to make this so that I can get everybody on board, Barry. I mean, that was the real
I'm so sorry. I have to go. I'm so sorry. Barry. Guys, God bless you guys. I hope everybody stays healthy, safe, be well, and we'll talk to you soon. Megan, I'm leaving it with you, and Eric, I'm leaving it with you.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks. And so Megan was there, and so we were over hors d'oeuvres, and he's like, well, Eric, what needs to happen to get Gold Star on board? I said, Barry, give me something that I can go to the team with, like whatever that is. He said, what if we get to a price that makes sense? I said, the only way this makes sense is for us to get to a price of per branch. So what has to happen? He said, Eric, if you can get all of your branches bought in, we can get you to that price. I was like, hello. And so that all happened at that event in San Diego that he and I were at. And so that's where this free trial came into play. That's where this pricing came into play. So there's no hoax. There's no, shell game here for you guys. We're just trying to create value and create a tool that allows you to close more loans. Reach out to me directly if you have questions. Reach out to Megan, please, directly, Megan at mbshighway.com with emails, with questions. She and her team are going to reach out to you directly with training, videos, what next, how does this work. I'm always here as a free resource. If you want to know about the predictives that they give you about the market, I know AJ and Dave Christmas have been getting the alerts for over 30 days. If you want to shoot them a message saying, hey, what's been your feedback? AJ is going to give you candid, honest feedback at all times. And his opinion is obviously incredibly valuable. And shout out to AJ. So you got validated again, AJ, today about the whole non-QM thing. AJ's been beating me up for 5 years about non-QM. And so more validation for AJ being right on non-QM going away at some point. We're just here to create value for you guys. Honestly, that's really just the intent here. Any last thoughts, Megan?
No, I'll put my email address in the chat box again. Eric, I'll have you send that out. And there's also, just so you guys know, there's an attachment that I will need from you guys. It's an Excel sheet. You'll just put the names of your team members in there, their emails and their cell phone numbers, so we know how to create those in our back-end system. And then I will reach out to you guys to process payment or shoot over an invoice at that point in time. And remember, the deadline is Friday. And if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And thank you for putting this together, Eric.
Absolutely. Thanks, team. Love you all.